All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, let the best session begin. Hello, namaste, and the warmest welcome to India's best electronic technophiles of the information ecosystem, which literally translates to a very warm welcome to India's best CIOs, CTOs, IT head, networking heads, and all the IT gems. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you've learned an answer for 2 months, but the exam paper sort of questions it for five. I, Nikita Rana, your host for the session, welcomes you to IBM Presents Accelerating Digital Transformation Journey by Embracing Application Resource Management. The biggest, the grandest, and the most exciting launch you have ever witnessed. Please ask why. So, speakers with mic access, our leaders, Mr. Vikas, Mr. Mukesh, I would request you to kindly switch on your mic access because apart from me, you're the only ones who have it, and ask why, Nikita. Audience members, I would request you, if possible, to type why. And I forbid myself to start the session before somebody asks me why. Mr. Vikas, Mr. Mukesh, I am absolutely counting on you.
Yeah, sure, Nikita. Why it would be good.
So, like that, sir has also improvised. Why? Because I am hosting it. Wow, you totally don't seem to believe that at all. I can see that in Mr. Vikas's eyes. So let us tell you the truth. It is because of all of you, rock stars. It is you. It is you who has made IBM this big global brand that it is today. And we know that you are on mute, but don't let that bring down your enthusiasm. Let's have a big round of applause for ourselves in this digitally muted state. See in life, I see Mr. Vikas clapping, but I don't see Mr. Mukesh clapping. Mr. Mukesh, in life, we don't get a lot of opportunities to clap for ourselves. We are busy clapping for other people. So when IBM is giving us this golden opportunity, why aren't we making the most of it louder? Much, much better. Ladies and gentlemen, today is all about giving you, our amazing customers and community, a front row seat to our vision, our goal, and get first-hand experience of our creation, IBM Turbonomic, handcrafted exclusively to make your life simpler. So if you want to, and we know that you do, reduce your data center and public cloud spend, increase IT productivity, improve your time to market, improve application to performance. Stay with us till the very end to know how. But wait, there's more. To top it off, we have a live Q&A segment at the very end, and it's your opportunity to get remedy to all your queries about IBM Turbonomic. But before we start, a very important announcement, ladies and gentlemen, we'd love to know your opinion on today's launch. We have to talk, it's going to be a very fun-filled, a very interactive session. So talk to us via the feedback form, which we'll be sharing at the closing of the session. And stars, all of you know that we at IBM are a super, super generous bunch. So all those who've provided the valuable feedback will get free one-on-one consultation with IBM experts to explore this topic further. All right, enough of me talking. Let the show begin. I may have to take a long deep breath for it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there are some who are jack of all trades, and then steps in our first leader who's a master of all. And when I say all, I truly mean all, and I'm going to wrap one entire paragraph for you. From cloud technology, service delivery, enterprise software, IT, service management, you name it, he's aced it, a leader with a whopping 18 plus years of pristine experience in the IT industry. Let's give it up for Mr. Vikas Bhudiraja, segment leader, application integration and management, IBM India and South Asia. Mr. Vikas, what a pleasure to have you with us today. Before you start,
Thank you very much.
Mr. Vikas, before you start, there's a question we've been wanting to ask you. What would you say is that one life skill, sir, life skill, apart from, we've risen above technicalities here, would you suggest that everybody should be armed with to turbocharge their life?
You said it, turbocharge your life. So that should be a skill. So everybody should be a charging their life, and they should feel cheerful about themselves and people around them. So that's what I would say the live feature everybody should have in their
So Vikas, what a beautiful answer. I mean, my question, you've turned my question into an answer. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Vikas. Mr. Vikas, stage is all yours. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Nikita. Thank you very much. And team, good afternoon, everyone, and warm welcome on this session of accelerating your digital transformation journey by embracing application resource management. So me and my colleague Mukesh, we will be covering a topic on turbonomics, which basically helps you in doing an application resource management. Let me go forward. So this is the application stack. Whenever you discover in your environment, this is the application components which come into the picture. But does the application reside on only this application stack? No, there is a long chain of application resourcing at the back is there, correct? So it starts from application stack, it goes to the host, it goes to the containers, databases, volumes, data center, and zones, and a lot of things. So for complete application supply chain, it's an end-to-end stack which basically provide an application resource supply chain at the back. Okay. Now, one thing which is changing ever is demand by the application. Okay. And in this complete supply chain stack of application, you know that the congestion can happen anywhere over there, which can bring inefficiencies in your application's performance. When a user basically calls you up and ask about that, there is a performance issue happening in my application, I'm not able to access the application properly, and or there is a issue with the accessing of the application response. So how do you react to it? How the environment react to it? So that's where the people start working on various domains. Okay. Various like for example, application owners start looking at the application performance tool, the virtualization owners start looking at the virtualization tool, network people start working at the network side, and everybody is working in silo. So silo team worked on silo tools basically to understand where the problem is, so which increases the mean time to recovery of the problem. And as we know that our current approaches are not able to handle this type of complexity which today's application supply chain is at the scale. Okay, so what do? People to avert this risk, people basically provide additional resources to the application. They keep buffer of the so much of resources to the application, which actually bring the inefficiencies in your application resource availability or application resource costing. How many of you, and I would request your feedback on a chat on this, how many of you basically actually agree with this statement that we know that application, the most of the time, the cause of application performance degradation is not the code, is actually the resource starvation. So I'll take a pause of say 30 seconds over here, and I would love to see your feedback on chats. Mukesh, would you help me in seeing the feedback if anybody gives over there? Is it true? How many of you believe that's true? Hand raise or yes or no, whatever you can write on chat, it will be helpful. Did we heard anything from anyone?
No answers till now.
Did I assume that everybody say that yes, it is, or did I say that everybody say no, it is not? Somebody responded, Mukesh.
Yeah, we got an answer. Ravish is Herawat.
Fantastic. Thank you, team, for being cooperative over here. Yes, so this is the main area about that. Application performance degradation is the main cause of application performance degradation is all about infrastructure resource starvation. Okay, and that's not the core. So how do basically we are helping over here? So Turbonomics is one of the software which is helping organization in assuring their application performance. With application performance monitoring tools, you can do the application performance understanding that which are the areas where application issues are happening, but how to ensure that my application performance is running and there is no resource crunch happening for the application whenever it required the resources over there. Okay, so Turbonomics is there in the industry from 2010. We were expert in doing a private cloud resource optimization or application resource management from 2010. And then we added hybrid cloud over there, and now we have shifted to the edge cloud. So we are helping customers to basically manage their resource or application supply chain from end to end, or on-premise, or as well as on the public cloud also. Going forward, so this is the application again supply chain structure. So you can see that this end-to-end structure has been discovered by Turbonomics. They basically discovered this complete applications supply chain structure, agentless, on API, whether it's running on-premise, whether it's running on a public cloud, whether it's running on an edge cloud, whether it's running on a hybrid cloud. We discover everything out of it. Okay, and we gives this end-to-end structure. Now, our APM tools basically works on the upper stack. They show you that which are the areas where the application performance is having an issue. Okay, for example, the response time, the transaction end-to-end transaction time, or spikes in response time. So all these things basically comes from APM tool. But what we do, we don't replace your application performance monitoring tool. We work along with them. We consume the data which they provide, and our AI engine work on that data and basically provides you the capability to basically understand where you are able to basically optimize optimize the resources for your application, where you can basically provide the resources to the application whenever it is required. Okay, so this is where our tool does. And not only that, it recommend the actions also. So one side is basically it is telling you these are the areas where the resource optimization or resource need is there, but how to take that action and what action I should take, that's also been recommended by this particular tool. So it provides you the complete visibility as well as the complete action capability to maintain your application supply chain of the resources. So that's a key differentiator for Turbonomics. And that's where, as I mentioned, that we are not replacing any APM solution. We are working along with the APM solution. Going forward, so if I summarize everything, you can see over here that this is the way the application stack is there. Okay, we have various layers of applications running into our environment, where the application reside and application sit on various virtualization platform or hardware platform or network platform. So in a normal scenario, this is what happened. The application performance monitoring owners or application owners don't know about what's happening in the infrastructure. They only, the APM tools can give them a visibility that, okay, there is some problematic areas are there, some issues are there, but they are not able to understand the complete end-to-end visibility. And similar way, when I talk about the virtualization engineers in the organization, they don't know whatever the resources they are giving it to you for your application to run, are they assuring the performance of that application? They don't know about it. Okay, so that's where the Turbonomics coming into the picture, which brings a single pane of a glass to basically end-to-end visibility of your application. It's giving a application LOBs owners to basically visibility into the infrastructure, and infrastructure teams visibility into the application side of the application performance side. Okay, and that's where it's bringing the complete end-to-end visibility to the organization on the end-to-end application supply chain. So Turbonomics, it's assuring the performance of modern application, okay, by delivering a predictable and reliable user and end-user experience, by continuously assuring application performance. Okay, as I mentioned, that APM tools basically provide you the area where the applications issues are happening, but how to ensure it, that's where the Turbonomics bring it. It automatically, as I mentioned, it automatically provide the resources whenever it required to whatever the application environment it is, and basically help you in decreasing the time to market and accelerating the pace of innovation to the market. It improves the operational efficiency by reducing the infrastructure waste. So it reduces your spend onto the public cloud or private cloud, or optimize your infrastructure over there, so that you basically have a better optimized resources working into your environment. So that's what Turbonomics basically provide as a platform. So our approach is simple. We basically go into three categories. We divide, if I divide the capabilities of Turbonomics to three categories. So what's this all about? Observability, where we talk about an application aware and full stack, discovery of the complete application stack, understanding what's happening into my environment, uh, visibility into my environment, that which is dependent upon what component, what are the areas where the congestions could happen, where the congestions are actually happening. So all these things basically comes from observability. That's what Turbonomics bringing. Second is this actionable insight. So we do a multi-dimensional analysis. As I mentioned, that we have an AI engine working at the back, which basically recommend you the actions, and those actions are trustworthy actions, because we do a multi-dimensional analysis of the information being collected from various sources, and that's what the key differentiator of Turbonomics is all about. And then we provide you the capability of automating your actions. We have a manual capability, as well as we have a capability to basically automate and integrate with various tools to basically automate your actions over there. So that's what Turbonomics approach is, and that's where if I go further down, if I break this into the more deeper details. So here it is. So first is like observability. As I mentioned, that we don't have any agent. It's an agentless API driven discovery of complete environment. We discover the complete environment starting from application, whether it's a containers, Kubernetes, cloud compute, storage, or DB as a service, or reserve instances, or discounts, or hybrid or multi-cloud, whatever it is, we can discover everything from an application supply chain perspective. It brings a complete elasticity for your application resource management. Okay, then this is a way it brings that the second block is all about it brings the visibility to you. It's an app to infra mapping completely. It makes your infrastructure app uh, available. So that's what it is over there. And then the third area is all about trustworthy action, that we can intelligently size. We can recommend you continuous placement actions. We can look at dynamic scaling, or scale up, scale down type of capabilities. We can basically start or stop VMs, or start or stops basically containers. So all these things basically we can do, and then we can execute these, integrate with this action. So you can manually do it with a click of a button. You can schedule it. You can integrate with the pipelines. You can integrate with the real-time actions. So all these things basically do. So together, application Turbonomics and cloud ops teams basically get the benefits of improving app performance at least by 20%, reduce public cloud spend, increase team productivity, and increase speed time to the market about. So this is where the benefits, which actually really brings the Turbonomics onto the application resource management. We will show this in the demo also to you, that how this actually works. Mukesh will take it up post my session. He will take in all this capability into a demo perspective. Going forward, so it's not only that we work only with the IBM tools or IBM ecosystem. So this is where you can see this long list, and this is not only the list. We have a huge integrations available. We integrate with all this set of industry running products. You can see that various APM solutions, various provisioning and orchestration engines, containers, databases, virtualizations, and VDIs, and public cloud, hyperconverged infrastructures, compute, storage, network. So various type of infrastructure components in your environment, we integrate with them. We understand and we discovered them. So that's the key capability that Turbonomics bring on. It's not only that we are restricted to a particular set of, say, IBM only solutions. Is not that. We are open and we integrate with various type of platforms over there and discover over there. And this is the way we provide you end-to-end discovery of your environment, agentless. Going forward, so with Turbonomics, customer achieve real results. We have seen there are some studies available. You can look at on those studies. I think my colleagues will be sharing some links with you where you can go and actually see that there are some analysts basically who has done some testing of Turbonomics results, and those are available on a public sites, and they will share with you. I'm just sharing few numbers over here, that it improves application performance by at least 20%. So that improves the business critical app availability for the organization. It's bring a faster time to market at least by 40%, because you can quickly deliver the resource without any downtime, and it reduces a business risk because it reduces your downtime at least by 20%. It reduces the carbon spend because it's a green data center initiatives most of the organizations are taking. So it reduces the carbon spend because it actually bring in the optimization in your cloud spend and your infrastructure resources. Okay. It unite app and infra teams, reducing the mean time to recovery. It's not that now post turbonomics coming into the picture. Okay. So it happens that means the silo teams are not working now. Okay. So application owners know what's happening onto the resource side, and resource owners knows what's happening on the application side. So it is making your infrastructure application aware. That's what the turbonomics bringing on the table for you from a single pane of a glass, and increasing the productivity of the IT department. That's what the key turbonomics parameter which it brings as a benefit to the organizations. Let me take one example, and this is one of the large US bank. Okay. Uh, as you see that we have basically handled the very large environment. It's all about like 4,000 plus business applications, uh, 1 lakh plus VMs, 10,000 plus containers, 8,500 plus hosts, and that's where the turbonomics run. So one point which I would like to basically mention over here, that it's a huge infrastructure, and turbonomics has no issue in managing this set of such a big infrastructure also. Second aspect which I would request your thought on, that you can see that it's basically having a VMware environment which is running on a VMware infrastructure. Customer has that, and second other side is they have a APM running with App Dynamics as a APM running over there. So turbonomics basically got established in the environment. Within the say first 30 minutes, we are able to basically discover the complete environment like this, and we are able to basically give them the complete details about of the application supply chain. And this is where the you can see that the business applications are dependent upon containers, VMs, and everything over there. And we then collect data, we integrated with their APM solution, and we picked up the response time and throughput from those APM solutions, and basically take it to our AI engine and basically start understanding where the problems are happening over there. Okay. And this is where we start doing the actions. And with this, we help them to basically understand this application resource time is actually coming from the APM solution. And then, sorry. Yeah, this transaction throughput was coming from APM. And then this is where we started recommending them the actions over there. Okay. That you can resize down your heap for application component. You can basically change the sizing from X to Y. You can downsize your virtual machines. You can resize your storages. Okay. So all these actions basically we have provided to the customer. So with this, customer was able to, and this was, I think, a mobile application which is running on the platform, and we were basically working over there. This is the example of that. And this prescribed action basically helped them to deliver a predictable and reliable user experience. You can see this. So this is what the recommendation which turbonomics is giving to them. So you can resize your heap, you can resize your vCPUs to virtual machines, resize your storage. So all this type of various actions which is recommended by the turbonomics to them. And this is where they have taken the automated actions. Some of them are automated, some of them are manuals, and that's what they took an action. Another example of a global retailer. Okay, and again, you can see this is a pure public cloud environment along with like Azure and New Relic as a APM solution they were using over there. Again, they picked up one application stack, which is complete dependent upon the various type of components. You can see that it's a APM, which is monitoring their application components, was a New Relic, and they were dependent upon PaaS, containers, and Kubernetes. They were private cloud running on VMware, and then Azure public cloud and everything, and network on Cisco. So that's where it is, and we discovered everything end to end, and we show them this complete application stack, application supply chain stack, and then basically again we integrate with their application performance solution, and Again, you can see that not only we recommended them, we pick up the data from the APM solution, from the response time and other things, and then we recommended them again the set of actions. Again, I'm saying that we are selling trust, and these actions are trustworthy actions because we pick up data from multidimensional sources, multidimensional way we understand the data, we do analysis, we do AI based, we have a AI based engine at the back which works on it. And that's where we recommended these action to them, that you should reduce the heap size, which is a Java component. Then you reduce your VM to reduce cost. You scale up your disk, which is storage, and then you scale down your volumes to basically reduce cost. So all set of aspects we are telling them. So the key aspect which I want to basically put it over here is that it's not about that I am only optimizing the resources, I am taking back the resources. It's not about that. It's all about that whenever the resource is required, I'm delivering that also. I'm optimizing in both the aspect, that one side, which is where it is not, it is going waste, we are taking it back, we are reclaiming it back. And other side, when it is required by the application, we are giving it to that also. So that's where it's bringing in the complete supply chain management of your application. That's what the key deliverable delivered by Turbonomics over here. And that's where it brings the elasticity aspect to your application performance management. Then you can see over here that from performance resourcing, it increase resources based on actual consumption and application performance. You can see that the retailer was able to recover back so much of resources, so much of savings he was able to do. And not only that, he was able to assure his application performance also. So that's a key aspect, that one side we are bringing in the saving, and other side we are basically ensuring the performance of application without any inefficiencies are there. That's a key benefit of Turbonomics, which we are bringing on the table. So with this, I take a pause, and I would request Mukesh to take over and show you a demo of this particular product in our live action. Mukesh, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Vikas, for this wonderful explanation. And before okay, just a minute, there is some glitch. Okay, so I haven't find any questions. I mean, team attendees, any questions so far? Whatever Vikas explained about application resource management, any questions pops up in your mind? And let's make it a bit interactive.
So if you have any questions, you can write it on a chat. We will try to answer. Post demo, we will have a live session for Q&A, and then you can ask your questions at that time also.
No questions. Okay, let me share.
There's a very popular saying in the event industry that if there are no questions, that means the speaker was so crystal clear and perfect with the presentation that there was no question of questions. So firstly, thank you so very much for that amazing presentation, Mr. Vikas. Before we go ahead with Mr. Mukesh's presentation, we'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Vikas. Mr. Vikas, just like a creation Turbonomic, which suggests the best step ahead, you too have provided us with the best step ahead of life to do everything to turbocharge our life. My God, the start of the session itself was so power-packed that it just got better with each slide. Absolutely amazing. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, we are graced with Mr. Mukesh on the screen. But before Mr. Mukesh, sir, there's a little bit of, there's an ode that we've written down for you. So with your permission, Mr. Mukesh, if we could go ahead with speaking about you, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we'd like to call a leader who is a gem. Mr. Vikas, an absolute gem, literally a gem. G for genius, E for engineering aptitude, and M for must have curiosity for innovation and technology. Fine, ladies and gentlemen, I was not getting a word from M, but I'm very happy with what I came up with. Let's give it up for a leader who's people driven, people focused, and teamwork passionate. And he truly believes that all you superstars present here today are not just assets, but treasures for IBM. Let's give it up for Mr. Mukesh Sethi, Senior Technology Manager, AIOPS, IBM India and South Asia. Mr. Sethi, thank you so very much for your time. And we'd love for you to start your camera whenever possible. And before you start,
So,
uh,
yeah, a
you
bit of correction here, Nikita. First of all, it's not AIOPS, it's about AIOps.
oh,
That is about infusion of artificial intelligence into operations. And we
got
believe that's what the audience is here for, to hear from us. How can they fine tune their applications and the infrastructure underneath to get the maximum benefit out of the infrastructure and their spends on the cloud or the public cloud or the private cloud or the hybrid cloud platforms.
very
And
yes, 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 sir.
and from the camera aspect, I switched it off purposefully because the incoming and outgoing traffic will be too high because this demo is again hosted in a remote location. Just for that very purpose, I switched off the camera.
But can you get any more technical? I mean, I am learning so much right from the very start itself. My apologies, AI ops it is, and wow, I mean that's a very good. It takes a technical leader like yourself to actually give a very valid point. Mrs. Sethi, now another question exclusively for you, and you have a benefit of doubt here because you have heard this question before. The one question before you start, we'd like to ask is, what is that one life skill that you would suggest? Mr. Vikas has already suggested that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would suggest that everybody should be armed with to turbocharge their life.
So being a hardcore techie, my viewpoint will be a little different because it's more about turbocharging your lives, and you will turbocharge only if you are managing your time and your resources very well. And that's what aligned with the theme of the today. I mean to say, if you are able to manage your time and you are able to manage your resources effectively, certainly your lives will be turbocharged automatically.
Fantastic. I think Turbonomic has definitely taught us that you're literally taking the teachings of Turbonomic in our lives. Fantastic answer, sir. Stage is all yours. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot and very warm welcome to all the participants uh, in today's demo for Turbonomic. As Vikas mentioned, Turbonomic is an application resource management solution. It's much different than application performance management. And there are plentiful of solutions available in market which does the application performance management. But none of the solutions actually tells you what action you should take. Rather, they will give you the visualization, they will give you the utilization information, but none of the solutions actually tells you what actions you should take to optimally utilize your resources and how to fine tune your resources, which are the key components underneath your applications. Because at the end of the day, every application runs on top of the resources. So Turbonomic helps you assure the performance of your applications by making sure that applications get the right resources at the right time when they need it. Secondly, it utilizes the on-premise as well as cloud resources as efficiently as possible at the lowest cost. And finally, it helps you adhere to any compliance or business policies required by your organization. And it can address multiple personas. When I say multiple personas, Vikas talked about multiple teams. Within multiple teams, there are multiple personas. Could be like a site reliability uh, engineer manager whose goal is to ensure application performance prioritization. And other goal could be to put performance assurance in an autopilot mode so that without any human intervention, your applications run in autopilot mode and they will get the right resources and give you the optimal performance. And of course, cost saving is again a very key important aspect. So with this, I'll take you to the Turbonomic demo. Let's see it in action. And as I'm already on the home screen, and Vikas shown you this supply chain diagram that you can see on the left. This is not mere a topology with pointing arrows. Typically, we are discovering the entire environment in less than 40 minutes. To an extent, to the largest possible environments we have done, it not take more than 1 hour or so. And it starts populating this supply chain diagram with help of business applications, how many business applications it has discovered. So currently you can see there are 37 business applications, 76% with no risk, 19% with minor risk, and 6% with critical risk. So these risks are in terms of performance because we are completely focused on application performance via optimization of underneath resources. These applications are generating or working with 652 business transactions. There are 300 services. There are 845 application components. And when we typically talk about infrastructure elements, there are databases, there are number of containers, pods, namespaces, container clusters, software-defined data center, plentiful of VMs. Until down level, you can see the disk arrays, the storage, the volume, the regions in case of the public cloud, the zones, the network entities. So entirely you will be able to visualize on the fly what is the state of your environment. And the end objective is to have a desired state that your organization and your application owners need. So in this dashboard, as you are able to see, there are three main widgets. One is the top business applications, along with the application resource health, along with the SLO information. I mean, are there any SLO violations? Because at the end of the day, SLOs should always be in good condition. Then you can visualize the top transactions, and then you can also visualize the top services and their associated SLOs, response times, and actions. Needless to say, when we talk about the application resource utilization in terms of response time or the services response time, we are relying on multiple application performance management solutions like New Relic, Datadog, AppDynamics, AppNomics, Instana, which is an IBM offering. And we are not confined or limited ourselves to only IBM ecosystem, as Vikas already showed that we support heterogeneous technologies and we support heterogeneous application performance management solutions to integrate with. Now, this is just a glimpse. If I click on show all, these are all the 37 applications which we were seen in the supply chain diagram, along with the health status of each of the application. These are pretty much green, as you can see on the right hand side under the actions column. There are no actions discovered or prompted by Turbonomic because these are in good shape. But if you typically look at the top applications, there are multiple risks associated and there are specific actions which Turbonomic recommended. So let me pick this one particular application, say mobile banking transfer app. And within this, again, as you can see, we are able to see now the individual application. The scope has been now turned to a focused business application, that is mobile banking transfer. This comprises of 3 business transactions, 11 services, and it's running on 4 VMs. And there are certain associated volumes and the disk arrays and the storage. And here I can see the transaction volume. Right now it is pretty low, but nevertheless, we are still able to see the response time and the pending actions. And these are the three individual services that are making up this business application, and there are associated actions to it. So at the end, net, you are able to see right now, even though there are certain critical actions, till now there are no SLO violations, but by taking these actions, these risks which are highlighted in red color, that is number 29%, there are critical actions that need to be taken to remediate these situations. So this give you a complete bird's eye view on the fly, how your applications are behaving. And if I go to individual actions, I'll be able to see what all these actions are and in which context these actions are recommended by Turbonomic. So these are all related to performance, as you can see. And we can expand any of these. These are movement actions, there are resizing or scaling actions, and there are provisioning actions. So we can say per se, I can pick and choose any of these. Say for example, move volume cloud 131 to the other location. And then further, I can see this is related to the current storage, and this is the current provision storage capacity, and what will be the change post having this particular actions. So what is the current state and what is going to be the state, that will all be depicted in the details whenever you choose any particular action. Any questions so far? Okay,
Not yet,
me
not yet.
let me go to the different dashboards. So depending on what persona is referring to Turbonomic screen or dashboard, there are multiple dashboards that you can create, and these could be persona specific. It could be per se for an executive who is managing, the on-premise cloud. The other one could be who is managing the public cloud environment, or there are container specific dashboards. So if I particularly say pick, for example, right now, the on-premise environment, here on the left, you will be able to see the hypervisor details along with the number of virtual machine, the storage devices, the host, the cluster, and again, the improvements that has been achieved with help of Turbonomic, the actions which are not executed and the actions which are executed. And below, if you go, you will be able to see more information like performance risks which are associated with this particular environment, the efficiency optimizations, and per se even the VM and the host and the storage density. So all information on your fingertips via the exec level dashboards. Let me go back again and let me choose per se the cloud portion of it. And within cloud again, as we can see, there is a potential saving widget. If I go and click show all, again, there are actions which are related to savings, as you can see under the action category. And I can click on any of these with the help of the details button, and I'll be able to enter and visualize what are the actions it's recommending and what kind of savings on the fly I can see under the savings column itself. And on the left, as you are able to see, there are scaling actions which are related to virtual machines or the storage volumes. There are delete actions. Now, delete actions will be based on the dormant resources which are lying idle in your cloud environment that you are actually paying without utilization. So why not to delete and save some cost? There are buy actions in terms of the reserved instances. There are optimization actions. So let me pick any of these, could be per se, okay. So this is about scaling a virtual machine. Here, as you can see, on the vCPU percentile average utilization, that is the vCPU utilization over a 30-day period with a 95 percentile information, and the virtual memory utilization along with it, and the recommendation. So it's related to a Kubernetes cluster, whereby the vCPU utilization is below 20%, 95% of the time over last 30 days. Then why not to fine tune this? So if I take this action, you can see the current vCPU capacity is 83.9. Post taking this action, the capacity will be reduced because I am already not utilizing the CPU to an extent which I should be, and I'm just paying the money. So eventually, Turbonomic tells you the placement actions, the scaling actions, the movement actions, deletion actions, procurement actions on the fly. And everything is automatic because we understand the utilization over a period of time. The data will be ingested into our AI engine and the recommendations will be automatically prompted to you. And once you approve those actions, or you can even fully automate those actions. So with this, let me go back again to the initial screen and pick some actions. So here I can see lot many actions it's showing. Let's go to the application part again. And again, as I can see, there are 793 scaling actions are there. There are certain start or buy actions, placement actions. So let's take a look again by showing it all. Again, all the 739 actions I can visualize, and these are automatically categorized in terms of performance or scaling. And if I click on this new view, I'll be able to, categorically visualize with which category they belong to. So there are certain deletion actions, there are certain resize actions, scaling actions, move actions. So let me try to again go to the move portion of it. And again, very easily I can search for any machine by typing here. Per se, I type helium, so it will filter down and it will take me to that particular machine. Again, I can see the supply chain diagram on the left. It's a virtual machine running in a virtual data center with two volumes associated, one storage. And I can see there are actions, critical actions related to storage with 100% critical actions. And if I go back and go to details, to the same very machine, helium. Oh, sorry, just give me a minute. I do not want to click it actually, but rather to show you the details. So the current host, again, the CPU utilization is 11.7%, and the post action, the utilization will change, and I'll be able to, take these actions automatically. And let me show you some automation policies, because we are since beginning talking about the policies or the automated actions. So let me go to settings, and if I go to policies, and if I search for a policy that I have created for this demo, okay. So this is again about configuring a policy into Turbonomic. You can define the scope, I mean, the set of machines onto which you want to take these actions. So here I am given the VM placement policy, and I have applied it to a group of VMs. Even I can add or change the scope by selecting any of these. I can select all 20, it will be applied to all of them. For the demo purposes, I already chosen a scope for a group of machines, that is for AC demo. I delete it and I add it again to okay, just okay, it's already selected, sorry. So not a problem. Uh, then we define the automation and orchestration actions. So if I edit this for you, so I have chosen the action type as cloud, scaling, all, and move. I can add more by clicking. Say, for example, there could be suspend actions, there could be provision, start, reconfigure, vCPU resize up, down, memory resize up or down. So all these category of actions fall under the move category, which I have already chosen. And you can choose or add any more actions out of this list depending on, say, per se, I include storage move right now. I can even include, say, start. So on the fly, I can add and modify the automated actions. And then I have chosen how you want to take these actions. Will these be automatic? Will these be manual? Or you just want a recommendation? So depending on, so here I have chosen automatic. You can choose what you want to do before or after. You can use some action scripts if you want. Same is applicable after execution. And then you need to add a schedule. So if it is an automatic thing, you can add a schedule. Say, for example, resizing of some VMs you want only to be during a maintenance window. You can specify that maintenance window under the execution schedule. And one important aspect is, like, if I close this one and I go back here there is something called as policy schedule. So that is for the enabling the overall policy at the schedule time. The other scheduling that I have just closed under the automation and orchestration was to specifically execute those actions. So you can have different schedules for the entire policy, or you can have a different schedule for the action itself. Then simply you can save and apply, and it will automatically take those actions depending on the schedule in case of an automatic scenario. And there is another persona, that is of infrastructure management team, whereby those who are responsible for the changes to plan. So if I go to the plan window, again, I can click on a new plan. So this could be again a scenario whereby you want to move your workload from your on-premise environment to a public cloud environment, or you want to optimize your cloud resources, or optimization can be done even on-premise. You can add more virtual machines. You can go for a hardware refresh or a host decommission or a VM migration, or you can merge clusters. So plentiful of plans can be built so that your infrastructure team can, plan and execute those actions uh, effectively. So per se, if I click on the optimize on-prem environment, I can select any of these clusters, or I can choose storage cluster, or I can choose a data center. Per se, I choose this cluster and I select any of this, and I'll simply say run plan. So it take a while, to generate this plan, and it will be right away shown on the screen. So there are results, the current state, and what would be the state after the plan. So it's a preemptive in-flight check, you can say, that you can plan with help of Turbonomic before taking any actions. And whenever, one thing I forgot to mention, that during this plan window, of course, we all understand that there is some change, uh, approvals are required. So you can integrate this toponomic solution with ITSM solution like ServiceNow, where the plans can be executed post approval in ServiceNow too. So that was a high level glimpse, I can say, on the turbonomic. So essentially, you can have placement actions, or you can have optimization actions, or you can have scaling actions, you can have deletions. So at the end of the day, allocating right set of resources or fine tuning the resources as per your application needs, and continuously maintain a supply chain of resources to your applications at the right time. That is the crux, I can say, that Turbonomic helps you with.
And reducing your cloud costs.
Of
That's a
course, of course.
that's a final statement, Mukesh. You want to make that yes, you can reduce your cloud cost, which will you can drastically improve your cloud cost optimization. That's what you can do. So,
Yes.
Nikita, we are done with the demo and the session. So over to you, and we can start the Q&A.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Mr. Vikas. Absolutely amazing, Mukesh sir. The clarity which you brought to the session is just amazing. What a deep dive to IBM Turbonomic. It seems like we can start working with it as soon as the session ends. But, ladies and gentlemen, a little more wait before we can. Lovely audience members, think of me as your humble messenger, and we'll be picking questions live from our comment section right now. So get typing and get asking. I mean, we want our chat box to be flooded with as many queries as possible. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, Mr. Mukesh, before we start off, right, there is
Yeah.
a question that we have been meaning to ask you. This is not about life, and this is not about, turbocharging. This is as technical as we can get. So you mentioned that Turbonomic performs discovery and maintains a supply chain of resources. So does Turbonomic uses agents to perform this discovery, or what would your take be on that?
Yeah, interesting question, and iterated couple of times, by the way. Yes, indeed, it does not use any of the agents because it leverages the API economy and the APIs behind multiple solutions we integrate with. And that's how the power of the solution is. Because remember, Vikas also mentioned, I also did mention that even in the largest environment, we perform the discovery within an hour or so. So that's the secret sauce, that we are not deploying any agents. We are not leveraging any other technology than API. And that's the fastest way to discover the data and populate the supply chain diagram in real time.
Fantastic answer, Mr. Mukesh. Ladies and gentlemen, we're down to actually our last final 7 to 10 minutes. It's as specific as 7 to 10 minutes. So make the most of now. We don't know when we'll be meeting astute leaders like Mr. Vikas and Mr. Mukesh the next time. So make the most of it. Till then, Mr. Vikas, one question for you. Sir, you mentioned about the integration with APM. So does IBM also have APM solution? That's our very first question. Second layer of this question would be, can Turbonomics integrate with existing APM solution, or we only need IBM APM only? The third would be, doesn't APM tool has ARM capabilities as well?
Sure, Nikita. So the first part of a question, does IBM has a APM solution? Yes, we have a APM solution also available with us, which is known as Instana. That is our IBM own APM solution. But that doesn't restrict that we only integrate with IBM APM. We integrate with any third-party APM solution. I showed this in my presentations also. Two of the customer scenarios where we integrated with two of the third-party APM solutions. And the third part is the APM solution has a capability to basically understand the issues in the application performance, but they don't have the capability to understand the complete supply chain of the application. And the big part which Mukesh showed at the last is more towards the rectification of that. That how we can basically ensure the elasticity of the application. So that's where the ARM plays, or application resource management capability of Turbonomics plays a key role by integrating with the APM solution and giving you an end-to-end management of your supply chain of your application.
Leaders, we absolutely love the camaraderie between both our speakers, right? When we asked Mr. Mukesh a question, Mr. He says, Nikita, I think you've forgotten what Mr. Vikas mentioned. Wherever is that we asked Mr. Vikas, he says, Nikita, were you not paying attention when Mr. Mukesh was speaking? Sir, wonderful point. Now that you've mentioned Mr. Mukesh, of course, the next question we would like to keep in Mr. Mukesh's quote. So the question to you is, can you integrate Turbonomic with ServiceNow, which is an ITSM tool, to get approvals for change requests?
Absolutely. That's where, when the infrastructure changes are being planned, that was towards the end of the demonstration I shown. That is the intent, because all IT organizations follow, till date, the traditional ITL processes, and change management is one of the key process, because 80% of the outages typically happens because of the unplanned changes. And here we are not talking about a small environment. We are talking about movement of workloads from on-premise to public cloud or towards the hybrid cloud environments, making a lot of bigger changes. So it essentially requires approvals, and we do integrate with one of the most popular solutions, that is ServiceNow. And once the approvals are done, post that plan can be automatically executed.
Fantastic answer, Mr. Mukesh. If only in life we can, before life throws us any change or it requests us to sort of, whether you'd want that change in your life or not. Fantastic answer. Mr. Vikas, moving on to you. So if I understand correct, right, you mentioned about Turbonomics help saving cost of the public cloud, which is what everything is about, right? It's about saving, it's about being as lean as possible. So there are many vendors as well as cloud native tools specializing in cloud cost reduction. So how would you say that Turbonomics is better than them? This is the crux of the entire session.
Okay. So in simple words, you are right that there are tools available in the market which basically works on the cloud cost optimization. And the answer itself is in the question, because it's a cloud cost optimization. They only do the cloud cost optimization. We are not only talking about optimization, we are talking about maintaining elasticity of application. We are maintaining, see, they will tell you that, okay, this is where you reduce the cost and you basically optimize and reduce the cost. But when the infrastructure or the resources are required by the application, how you will deliver that. That's where the key differentiation is, that we maintain, not only we are optimizing, we are maintaining the complete supply chain of your application resources. That's the key differentiation, what we bring on the table. Second thing, they are like, as I mentioned, that they might be a cloud native, or they are doing only for specific cloud. We are doing from on-premise, we are doing it from the hybrid cloud, we are doing it for the public cloud. So we are giving a single pane of a glass to manage across your infrastructure components. So that's a key capabilities what we bring on the table, and key differentiator what we bring on the table. And third area is like, I'm not so sure that I've not heard any tool which basically integrate directly with the APM and take our inputs from them, and then basically, so that's where we integrate with APM solutions, whether it's third party also. And our AI engine works on multi-dimensional inputs, multi-dimensional areas, and we provide trustworthy actions to be taken. Okay, that's a third key differentiator what Turbonomics bring onto the table against those cloud native solutions or some third party products which are offering a cloud cost optimization.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was Mr. Vikas giving you not one, not two, but three differentiators as to why Turbonomics is the very best that is in the market right now. And Mr. Vikas, thank you so very much. Not just for the beautiful answers, right? I think you just made me realize that, Nikita, whatever the question that you are seeking, the answer is within you. So that is my takeaway from you, sir. What a beautiful session it was. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come down to our last bit of the session, your last opportunity to get answers to any of the queries that you have regarding ergonomics. Any questions to our wonderful leaders? Leaders, before, while this takes time, I realize our audience members may need time to frame the questions and all of that. What would be your last tip, any takeaway for our amazing audience members? We'll start off with Mr. Vikas.
Go and look at the ARM solutions, identify which are the areas into your application supply chain. We are happy to basically work with you. As I mentioned that you mentioned, Nikita, in the start of that you feel if any of the audience member feel that they need more understanding, more information about these solution or ARM solution, we are happy to do a one-on-one conversation with them as and when they required. So that's what them. And again, turbocharge your life. So make sure that you be happy every time and make people happy around you. That's the key of the life. So
because I think we've risen and transcended from the realm of materialistic, and we're talking about philosophy, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this calls for a great session. Thank you so very much, Vikas sir. Mr. Mukesh, what would your final take be?
My final take again is very much aligned with the entire session gist. I mean, I heard, or rather, I should say that we are here to deliver the message that other than technical things, you are going to have great cost savings. And as Vikas mentioned, that there are plentiful of tools from the cloud providers which caters only to their area to save the cost. I could say one can save the cost by under allocating the resources anytime. Even a cloud service provider can say, okay, it's your application, give it 2 cores or 4 cores. You can save a lot of cost. But saving the cost at what cost? Saving the cost at cost of your application performance. That's not our goal. Our goal is to save the cost with optimal performance at all the times. That's my last message.
Beautiful quote, Mr. Mukesh. I think, this quote deserves to be on some t-shirt that people wear, embossed on some shirt. Saving the cost at what cost? Beautiful, beautiful line. Thank you so very much, Mukesh sir. Ladies and gentlemen, like we mentioned at the very start, if there are no questions, we are absolutely sure that whatever is it that our leaders mentioned was crystal clear, and the point was driven to the T. Fantastic. All right. So with this, we come to the end of IBM Presents Accelerating Digital Transformation Journey by Embracing ARM, which is Application Resource Management. How time flies when you're enjoying yourself. So post meeting you champions, we have understood that IBM and its patrons, that is all of you, know how to win, know how to disrupt competition, but most importantly, know how to have fun. Whatever IBM does, it does it big, it does it super grand. A big thank you to all our powerful leaders and charged of audience members. Until next time, thank you. You've been a lovely audience. And of course, happy Republic Day well in advance. Thank you so very much. Meet you next time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.